Okay, so hi everyone. Welcome to today's session. Today we are talking about getting organized in your business. Today we have Matthew Herchel joining us from 2H Media. And so if you are watching this recording and you're not in the room, please feel free to send us a message at success@guelphbusiness.com if you have any questions after the fact, and I'd be happy to get answers for you. If you are in the room with us, please feel free to add things to the chat or stick around at the end of the program. We'll also stop the recording. We can have an open conversation at that point. So Matthew, I will pass this over to you. I'm here if you need me, but welcome.
Right on. Right on. We're good. So hopefully everyone can see my screen here, which is fantastic. Thank you, Angie. I just want to go over some quick housekeeping things beforehand. The slides we're going to provide to the Business Center. So if you'd like the slides after the presentation, you can reach out to Angie after the fact and she can provide you with the slides. I do recommend you taking your own notes as well to complement that, but as she just said, it's recorded and the slides are available. If you do have a question, yes, great, chat. I am looking at it. If I'm slow to respond to you, that's okay. If it's like really on topic, we'll answer it in real time. If it is not on topic and it's a little bit more unique, I'll capture that at the end. There will be a little bit of Q&A at the end. So we're going to get to that as well. Other than that, we're going to dive right in. We're talking about how to get or stay organized in your business. Right on. That's me. I work for 2H Media. My business partner is Aaron Murch. We've been working in marketing a long time. So we are going to take the lens of what we know very well in terms of this. So every single person here is going to have their own operations, their own needs, their own urgency, their own way they do things. So I am going to be taking it from a slightly more general standpoint because each one of you will be running something different. Our business focuses on moving the needle. So it's really around what goals is your business trying to meet, whether it be revenue, growth, team, operations, time saving. We work to facilitate those actual needs in a variety of different manners. Today, we're in our education component, so I'm glad to be here with you. To get started, okay, we need to separate a few things out when we're organizing things. We need to have some very, very clear definitions. And the one that we're going to start with is working in your business or working on your business. Has anyone heard this before? Working in versus working on? Hopefully, maybe, yeah. Yes, great. So I would imagine there's a bunch of other small business owners in the room. We're small businesses ourselves. There is an on component and there's an in component. We don't have staff to do absolutely everything and take all the work off our plate and just remove ourselves. One day, maybe. I think it's less fun if you don't have an active role in the business, but great. The in, by definition, it's the day-to-day operations. It's like you have to work in the business to make it function. You have to do the stuff, whatever the business is accountable for. You need to bake the bread. You need to clean the store. You need to do whatever it is doing to run day to day. Great. The business doesn't get any further ahead when the owner or the most expensive individual at the business are doing these tasks. Realistically, that's where we all have to start because we don't have a zillion dollars. But yes, that's the in. The on is working to make the business grow. So we definitely do not grow when the owner is working in the business. The business grows when the owner is working on the business. So very, very quickly, mental note, how much time do you need to spend working in and how much time can you dedicate to working on? In the beginning, for us, we were working 6 days a week for a very long time. 5 days was in the business, doing the work, talking to clients, formulating plans, building websites, building advertising campaigns, monitoring, meeting, all of that stuff. One day, our Saturdays was spent working on the business. So for a full day, every Saturday, it was just business development. It was how do we actually get out of this cycle? And that's entrepreneurship. Great. We sacrificed a bunch of our time to grow it. Now it's here. So for you, you're going to have to prioritize how much you need to be in and how much you need to be on. It's very, very clear. If we only focus on one or the other, teeter-totter, we are going to have cash flow problems if you're constantly working on the business and not in the business. And the other side of the business is not going to grow if you never spend the time to actually nurture it and make it so. Any questions with the difference between working in and on, and then having a budget of time for both? Fairly straight concept, especially for an early stage entrepreneur. It's going to be a struggle. Time is going to be like one of our most valuable things. We're going to have a lot of it. Prioritizing it is somewhat difficult. Great. Okay. There's a lot of things that fall into both those categories of in and on. How we choose what we do with that time is very important. There are many, many, many different forms of prioritization to figure out what you should do and when you should do it or not do it at all. So I don't want to say our way is the best way. It's just a way that works for a lot of people. So based on who you are, personality type, based on the organization that you're trying to build, there are tons and tons of different things that you could do. In this, we use an Eisenhower matrix. This is not an original idea from 2H Media. This is just a very, very large concept that's used by many organizations all over the place. So we definitely don't want to take credit for that. There is a free template at that URL. I'll put that URL in chat for you right now if you would like to get it. It's coming from Sprint Point. Sprint Point is 2H Media. 2H Media owns Sprint Point. It's just where we put all of our documents so people can download them for free and get access to them. So if you want to download it, there it is. It'll just be a digital download and you can print it off. Great. What the heck is an Eisenhower matrix? This is it. Fairly straightforward. It's a grid with 4 quadrants. On the x-axis, the top, the x-axis, the horizontal axis, you've got urgent and not urgent. Great, urgent, not urgent. And on the y-axis, the vertical axis, you've got important and not important. And based on that, you can probably figure out where things fit. Urgent, important, not important, urgent, yeah. So the goal behind this is to plot the things that you need to do in the area that fits. And we really need to be objective here. What is actually important and what is actually urgent? Urgent might not mean time sensitive, but it might mean it's really important for the business to do. So like if you don't pay for something, bad things will happen. You might not need to pay specifically on time, or sorry, important, but you're going to need to pay for it eventually. If something's going to help your cash flow, it might not be important right now, but it might be really urgent to do. Okay, great. So you need to formulate where these tasks go. Your employees will not know what is urgent or what is time sensitive. This is all contained into your knowledge right now. So all of the tasks in the business will somehow get plotted onto this graph. We don't need to do it in any specific amount of detail. And you could write it on sticky notes. You could put it on a piece of paper. You could use Excel. You could do whatever you want to actually do this. And there is some fairly easy, straightforward suggestions that go with each box. If it's urgent, important, do it right now. Do it now. If everything is urgent and important, then nothing is urgent and important. So if every single thing that you're thinking of goes in that top left box, we have to rethink what the business is doing. The business cannot constantly be on fire. Not sustainable. So do the important things first. Get those check marks done. It feels really good, especially early in the morning. You wake up, you bang out a couple of those urgent, important things. Checkbox, checkbox. That's going to give your body that little bit of that dopamine. It's going to feel good. It normally sets yourself up for success. Great. If it's urgent, not important, get it off your plate. Straight up. Straight up. It's just great. We need to find someone else to help you do this. That could be a virtual assistant. They're very affordable. That could be a student coming out of a co-op. That could be, there's lots of government grant programs that subsidize students coming out of school. We have to get that into someone else's plate in order for the business to grow. Yes, money is a thing. If we can't afford to hire someone, that's okay. We all had to start somewhere. I'm going to give you the next thing in order to prioritize that we're gonna actually talk about that. If we can't hire someone tomorrow or in the next month or whatever, if cash flow, again, we just need to make sure that we are focusing on that goal. We're eventually trying to get it off your plate. We have to have that goal of getting it off your plate. Not urgent, important. Social media, not urgent, but it's important to do. Yeah, touch points, schedule it. Find time. It means maybe you want to do that area of your business. Bookkeeping is an example. It's very important you do your bookkeeping. It needs to be filed on time, but you've got all year to do it. Schedule it. Block out the time, and when it really means schedule, it means time block. Put it in your calendar. Here's how much time I think I need to do it. It's in the calendar ahead of time. I need to do it. There's nothing else that takes priority when that task needs to be done. And obviously not urgent, not important. We'll delete it. Great. Get it not even off your plate. Get it out of the business completely. You won't, if we were to come in and analyze your business, we are trying to fill up that column as full as we can get it. I want to remove. It's just dead weight. Okay, so that is the Eisenhower matrix. That is the overview of what the things are, what all the tasks in the business are. You don't need to record all of the tasks. You might be able to do this monthly, quarterly, bi-weekly. It definitely does not, this is not a yearly planning thing where we've got urgent and time-sensitive tasks. So like typically what we do is we work with a sprint. We're going to talk about some project management stuff later on. We do this weekly or bi-weekly. Great. What are all the things that need doing? How do they fit? And they get prioritized as such. Great. Any questions about an Eisenhower matrix or how to prioritize the things you are doing in your business? And I'll say right off the hop, if you are a chef or you are working in some customer facing role, we are not trying to make the order into these boxes. Yes, they're urgent and important, all the orders for the company, and you're trying to get food out into your customers. Great. That's not the work that goes here. That's always good. That's working in the business. These are for tasks that are working on the business. Great. The work. We're just going to have a big conversation about the work in general. If you aren't recording what you are doing, mistake number one, we have to record what we're doing. As owners, it's really, really hard to hold ourselves accountable. We've got all the freedom and we've got none of the accountability. We have to be accountable for what we're doing. We do that by recording what we're doing. It doesn't need to be to the letter. You don't need to clock in at 9 o'clock on the dot and then record 9 o'clock to 9:06 email. We're not looking that granular. We're looking at what we're ending up doing. How much time was spent doing project management? How much time was spent doing client onboarding? How much time was spent doing these specific things? You can do it at the end of the day. You can do it during the day. Anything is better than nothing.
I'm Jay with AppSumo, the best place to get insane deals on business software.
I've got some
Now
audio.
looking at content group.
Fixed it.
Thank you, Andy.
Look good.
Right. Great. Great. So the work, you have to record it. Write it down on paper, put it into Excel or Google Sheets. You have to record it. If you've got too much on your plate, the immediate goal is to get it off your plate. We need to find a room to hire someone to take things off your plate so that we can work in the important columns. We want to be working on that important column. Important means you, owner, important. Okay. Not important, employee. Okay. How we actually determine that. Here's another quick sheet. I'll put that link in chat for you. If you're looking for a place to record your work, this would be a place. Oh, I'm going to get to that, Heather. Yes, that's a good question, Heather. I'm going to come right back to that. Great. On this sheet, you can start right in the top corner, name or position. You can put your name, owner. Great, owner of business, and all of your responsibilities. I know there's only a few lines there. You can expand it. Some of those responsibilities shouldn't be your responsibilities. They are to start, right? But they shouldn't be there forever. The goal of the business is for it to grow. I want to take those responsibilities and shift them to someone else. Once I've got enough responsibilities that can be put on someone else's plate, I need to hire someone to do them. And now I've got a bunch of work for that employee to do that we can manage. Heather, do you recommend time tracking app or software? Which ones do you prefer? I'm going to come back to that in a few slides. We're gonna talk about that. So we're gonna talk about the physical things that you can do. Again, small business friendly physical things. Print a piece of paper, ink on paper, done. Start measuring them. Everyone can do it. No excuses. Record what you're doing, and then we're going to talk about some software tools that'll allow you to grow. So we're sticky notes to start, software to finish. Okay, so great. The existing employee responsibilities. You are an employee of the business. You need to be on here. List out your primary responsibilities. Maybe you've got someone helping you. Maybe you've got a family member, a friend, a co-founder, a business partner, someone else in the business. All of their responsibilities need to go down. And then I can start just looking. The new hire section is at the bottom. I need to start filling up someone else's plate and go, oh, I can get this off my plate. This is where I can start recording it. That new hire, okay, great. I've got 15 things for that person to do. Maybe that means it's 20 hours a week. Maybe it's part-time. Maybe it's contract. Maybe it's whatever it is. But I can start recording what needs to be done, their experience, education, what that looks like, how much time that's going to save you. Again, it's just a quick sheet for you to start recording this stuff. Great. The other template that you should be running is just a weekly business planner. From that Eisenhower matrix, you can plan your week. I like planning weeks because if I plan a year, half of the stuff that I plan, we don't end up doing. Planning too far out in a small business is just a waste of time. I don't need a year-long strategy. I need small actionable items because guess what? Things are going to change. So if you want to do it monthly, like social media calendar stuff, monthly, email marketing stuff, maybe monthly. You want to do the smaller things, great. As small down as you break up your tasks should correspond to how much time you're spending here. Again, I'll put this link in chat for you. So if you don't have a weekly business planner, great, here you go. Download it. The to-do list, right in this right middle, upper middle left. I like my to-do list prioritized. What is the most important goes at the top and the least important goes at the bottom. And I don't want to cheat. Just because something's easy, I want to work on what's most important, not what is easy. Right? Or fun. It's easy to work on the fun things, but that's not going to move the needle. Right? So this is going to be, again, how you as an owner hold yourself accountable. I'm going to write out the goals of the business, right? And the priorities. And that priorities are going to be working a little bit in and a little bit on. And it's probably going to be mostly in to start and a little bit on. That's okay. That's okay. Once that is done, we can actually talk about how that work gets managed. So up to this point, it's just the work. All of it needs to happen. The priority and the urgency are up to you. Great. There are many different styles of how to actually tackle this. And now this comes down to working with a team. I would stick to this if I was just the owner working in my singular, because I've got all the knowledge, I've got all the responsibility, I've got everything. I do not need to communicate. I have not reached the point where I need to communicate this stuff. I have not grown to that point yet. I just need to do. I do not need to communicate the doing. As soon as I need to communicate the doing, I need some way to do that effectively. I need to get some of this work off my plate and into someone else's hands. And then I effectively need to manage them. We'll call it managing a project or managing the work, managing the thing that needs doing. There are many different styles of managing these things. We don't have time to get into all of them. There are lots. You've probably heard of some of them. Agile, Waterfall, Scrum, Kanban, Six Sigma. It depends on what the business is doing. Some businesses, like if you're in the construction space, require one thing to be done before the next. The framing needs to be done before I can put the roof on the house. Great. The walls need to be up before I can put the plumbing in the walls. It's very linear. I have to do step 1, then step 2, then step 3, and I can't skip steps. Other businesses, you can do things while other things are happening. And it really depends on industry, work or project focus, complexity, the specialization of the roles within your business, and then the size. So not everything is going to work with everything. We're going to investigate just one of these things today. It's mostly small business friendly. Okay. It is a form of agile, and it is called Kanban. If you're looking for more information about all of these, I'll put a link in chat. I'm sharing a lot of links today. There's a whole whack ton of different project management specialities and types. You want to do some reading on them, there's a link there. Asana is a good resource for this. We're going to talk about them in a little bit. But yes, I need a system. I don't want you to invent the system. Inventing project management systems is a waste of your time because that's not your business. There's a really good chance that you are not a project management consultant. You get no money. You make no money trying to invent your own system that your small business will use. Use something that already works, please. Okay? Please, please, please. You will have probably seen in your travels larger organizations with like walls of sticky notes, and they're like fun and like culture and all of the things that go along with that workplace environment, and they look very daunting. They look like, holy crap, how the heck are they keeping track of all the things? Well, you're looking at it from the perspective of like, that's their system in its entirety, so it's going to be very complex. In reality, these walls of sticky notes, and again, the sticky note version is where we started. The sticky note version is small business friendly. We can get sticky notes, we can get some wall space, you can put some green tape up, and essentially what these walls of sticky notes are a Kanban board. That's what it is. There is software that you can use, that you can do to replicate this, but I'm going to talk about the traditional easy version that anyone can start. Okay, that wall of sticky notes is essentially 4 columns in its singularity without getting too complex. There are 4 columns. There is a to-do list. The fancy word is a prioritized backlog, but really it's a to-do list. Okay, the to-do list should be prioritized. The things that have to happen first and urgent, important, at the top of the list. The things at the bottom of the list should be less important, less urgent. So always prioritize, leftmost column, to do. Work in progress. When you are working on the task, you physically take the sticky note off of the to-do and you move it in the doing. 1 sticky note per person. We cannot be doing 2 things at once. One thing at a time. Great. At this point, back to Heather's question, if we were using software, it will track our time from when it moves from one column to another column, and it'll track. It'll start a timer automatically, and it'll say, great, it was moved by this person on this date at this time. Great. The sticky note will not track time. You can write it down. You can put a clock right in the corner where your wall is, and you could track time on it. You could take your pen out and write the time that you start and write the time that you finish. But that's cool. So you pull a sticky note from the top, and you put it in work in progress. Awesome. When the work is done, it goes into a validate column. And that would be an employee saying, hi, boss, I finished the thing. And at which point you, the owner, needs to validate, was it done correctly? That's the management's job, is making sure the work got done correctly. Yes, so we're going to talk about that. Yeah, ClickUp is one of them. There are many. We're going to go over a few of them. After it's been validated, so now we've had 2 touch points, the person who did the work and their manager that validated the work. Now there's accountability. 2 people have done it. Great. If the work wasn't done properly, obviously the manager is going to write some notes, yada, yada, yada. It's going to go back in the to-do column, not in the doing. It's going to go back in the to-do all the way. It's going to jump back. If it was done successfully, you can go to complete. Awesome. Really, really, really straightforward. Don't worry about the color of the sticky notes. Don't worry about anything else. Buy one color sticky note and write it all down. Once you've gotten good at this, colors can mean things. Colors can mean the person that should do it, the role that should do it, the client that it's for, whether it's a client-focused task or you're working in or on you can make the system however you want once you're good at it. But that is essentially what Kanban allows you to do. Great. It gets way more complicated than that. That's okay. Start here. Start here. If you can start here, you'll be very, very good. It's going to give you a sense of accomplishment is one of the biggest things as an entrepreneur. It's hard to measure our results. But at the end of the week, I can look at how much stuff actually got complete. And hopefully, so what we were doing was sticky notes on the board, the week goes by, Friday comes, all the things in the complete column get wiped off the board. You go, pick them all off, great, great, great. Wow, we did like so many things, great. And we just put them in a little cue card box. Great, and now we can log all our stuff. We got 15 things done this week, and last week we only got 12. Great. Again, we're gonna give ourselves that little dopamine hit. We're doing good work, okay? And then the next Monday comes, you prioritize the backlog again, add new things into it that have happened throughout the week. And here we go again. Cool. There are software. So once you're good with the sticky notes, we have software that is going to replicate what those sticky notes do in a variety of different project management styles. So like, again, that one was just called Kanban, but there are many, many others. Many, many others. So Asana, Monday.com, ClickUp, as Orville mentioned, great. There is a lot of different softwares that do this. Most of them are more beneficial with a slightly larger team. And I mean slightly larger, meaning like more than just you. Like 2+. You, another, and then we're going to grow that out. It's going to allow you to record, so time track. It's going to allow you to delegate. Now I can assign people those tasks. Now I have other tools available besides a sticky note. I can specifically say this person is going to do this work, and I can put their face on it, and I can assign them work. I can validate it a lot better. I can record it a lot better. I can track our progress week over week. I can measure our effectiveness. The sticky notes don't really allow us to do that too well. We don't get any data. We can't turn it into a chart. We can't figure out if we're doing things faster or better. But again, I want you to get the system working for you before we get super complex. I want to start with the basics. So we're not jumping in the deep end. Again, I would rather you be a good business owner than a really good project manager. Because eventually the business is going to grow to where you will just hire a project manager. You are not it. You are the owner. not the project manager. This is a role that we are temporary filling, right? If you run a restaurant, I want you to be a really, really good chef. There's going to be project management that you're running the kitchen. Outside of that, we might have to hire some other people that are going to have skills beyond you, because I need you to have your primary skills up here. Food's got to be good. No amount of project management fixes bad food if you're a chef. Okay? Big warning here. And this is the scary bit when it comes to software. It's only beneficial if everyone is using it. The software is only as good as the people behind it. That's it. If you stop using it, it's all a waste. So the sticky note system is very, very low tech. It's low commitment. If it doesn't work and you hate it, you've invested $5 worth of sticky notes and that's it. The software takes time to set up and run and use and train people on. So we do not jump to software solution for project management until you are ready. Okay? Again, bigger the team and the more people using it, the more people that have been onboarded correctly into it, the better and smoother the system will work. Okay? Oftentimes in those job descriptions, you will mention how the company works. We use X and Y, bonus to have, familiarity with agile development, familiarity with Six Sigma, familiarity with Kanban. You're going to see that. If you go to the automotive sector, it's going to be Lean and Six Sigma all day long. If you go into construction, it's going to be project construction, home building, or commercial building. It's going to be waterfall. It just will. Different industries are going to have their specialization. So great. Within these pieces of software, again, additional tools outside of the sticky note system. We get these fancy things called SOPs, standard operating procedure. We can tie instructions to tasks. Very, very, very important. Okay. Often these softwares will have templates right in them. Okay. Most of them do. So again, don't invent yourself. Use what's already working and make it like off the shelf. I'm looking for off the shelf solution. Small businesses cannot afford custom. We like off the shelf. Great. Done. If you're looking for a social media calendar, great. There are templates for that. You don't need to create one yourself. Employee onboarding. Don't try to do it yourself. We don't get paid to do it ourselves. We get paid to get the work done, not to develop how the work should get done. Right? Whole bunch. Event planning, you name it. There's lots and lots of templates. I stole this. This is from Asana. We use Asana in our day-to-day all the time. Great. That's nothing against ClickUp or Monday. They're all very similar. They're all very similar. So there are many benefits here. SOPs. If you don't have an SOP in your business, that's okay. It stands for Standard Operating Procedure. Cool. It's a written set of instructions that your team and you, they're for you as well. They're not a person specific. They are task specific. When doing this, no matter who is doing it, this is the way to do it. It's really easy for the owner to break protocol because no one is going to come down on the owner except themselves. And oftentimes we overlook things as owners. Employees like to follow the rules. We want to set them up for success. Cool. They're best used for business tasks that get performed regularly, not unique tasks. If there's a high context, unique task, it's going to require higher level of knowledge. It's not going to be a step-by-step guide in order to do that thing. Okay. The benefits, yes, they take time to create. It's like creating a recipe. If you were trying to create a consistent muffin, I want a recipe. Do this, how much, when, where, with who, great. I want all of that instruction. It's going to create a uniformity across your business operations. I want everything. I need it to be uniform. I need it to be consistent, right? It's going to reduce the training time. It's going to reduce the amount of time you spend working in the business. You do not want to answer questions that your employees or team members can just find the answers to themselves. If they need to take your time, it is more than just your time. It is your time plus their time. So I want their time being spent on what they can do. You will need to show them the SOP. You'll need to walk them through the SOP. You'll need to show them where the SOPs are stored. But I definitely do not want you to do more than that, right? Again, we've all been an employee at one point, and we like having the structure in order to be good employees. I want to follow the rules. I know I'm not going to get in trouble if I do it the way that I was shown. I have the confidence to do it correctly over and over and over again. It's going to make my life easier as I don't want to be stressed out at work. Employees they're not meant to be stressed. They want to follow what the business is designed to do. Great, quick answers to common questions, streamline communication, and then one of the biggest things, reducing errors. Great, if we find a problem that we're always coming up with errors on, it might be time for an SOP. If we're doing it multiple times, might be time for an SOP. If it requires a lot of involvement from a bunch of different team members just to get something approved, time for an SOP. So some common ones, again, borrowing from Asana here. How to onboard a new client. Yeah, it should be consistent. It should be easy to follow. Anyone in the company should be able to do it. Anyone should be able to hop in and do it. Great. Performance reviews, processing payments, submitting vacation requests, managing good and bad reviews. I've got a quick sample here. Just submitting an expense report. Great. If you've got a chef working in your business and you're the owner, how does that work? They're going to go and buy it on a company card, and they're going to record. What are they going to do? It's a simple flow chart. In this case, great. It might be put the receipt into the folder and record whatever it is. It needs to get recorded down so that you can do it effectively. And now anyone, the sous chef, a chef in training, anyone can follow the rules. Great. I don't want to bug the chef every single time that something needs to happen. Cool. There's a really, really easy one. Before I move on to the other easy one, if you aren't recording where your time is going, you're probably going to create SOPs that are not useful, and that'll be a waste of time. Big time. Big time, big time, big time. Okay. One of the most common and easy ones is just replying to reviews. Anyone in the company, the social media manager, the owner, anyone at the company that has got this level of access should be able to respond to a review. They're important. Fairly straightforward. Again, a little flow chart. Was the review positive, negative? Yes, no. Follow it down. I do not want to have to bug my manager or the owner or someone that's higher up to do things when I can just follow the rules. Cool. I do want to leave time for Q&A, and I'm blasting through this. Is there any questions so far with the content we've had? Because right from the top, measuring importance, deciding what work needs to go under whose plate, some project management tools, working some software into the mix, and deciding when there needs to be an SOP. If we can get those 5 things done, the business is going to be far more organized. Far, far, far more organized. At this point, I am going to open up chat, and I'd like to have a quick discussion with people where they currently sit in their businesses.
Matt, are we, is there anything more in the presentation first before because I'm going to close recording before we have a general conversation?
Oh, absolutely. No, that is where I'd like to stop. Thank you, Angie.
No worries.
That is it. I want to talk about those 5 things now with you.
Okay, so for those of you who are watching this on YouTube later or through other streaming services, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Matt or to the Business Center. So that's success@guelphbusiness.com, and we can help you navigate some of the resources or even just some of that planning, thinking through things. For those of you who are in the room, please stick around for a few seconds and we can have a more open conversation. So thank you for those who are watching, and thank you, Matt, for joining us today.
Thank you.